Today I want to share a little bit about a Bible character who for a long time has been one of my favorites and kind of a hero. And he's someone that's not mentioned very often. He's not named, but I refer to him as the lone leper. He's from Luke 17. He's one of 10 guys who go to Jesus. In fact, let me go ahead and read the passage. Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border from between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priest." And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back, praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him, and he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, "Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner?" Then he said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you well." Now, in my life, over the last month, it's been a little bit crazy. Probably about 3.5 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, I started to have some symptoms. I wasn't feeling very well. I had some nausea, a little bit of a headache. I was somewhat congested and a little bit of a sore throat. Well, in time, that sore throat became worse. I was like, oh man, I hope I don't have the coronavirus, but maybe it's something like strep throat or whatever. And I went to the Minute Clinic, and they looked at me and found out that I didn't have strep throat. And they said, well, yeah, you probably don't have the coronavirus because you can taste, you can smell, you don't have much of a fever, and you're not really having any issues breathing. Well, over the next couple days, that fever really started, and the sore throat became worse first, and that was brutal. But then the fever started, and it got to about 102.4. I remember the highest reading I saw, and I was a little scared. I thought, wow, if it gets higher than this, that could be really bad. And I prayed and asked God, and by His grace, the fever went down, and from there I got progressively better and better as the other symptoms went away. And I've been clear for about 2.5 or 3 weeks now, and it's been great to be able to be back out in the world in a sense. I was quarantined for about 10 days. During that time, I thought a little bit about leprosy. I watched an episode of The Chosen, and saw that there was a leper and just how people reacted to him. And now I didn't experience it as poorly as that, but even my family wanted to stay away from me and wanted to keep their distance wisely. And anyone who would have heard about it would have wanted to as well. I thought, as I was getting better, I thought, oh man, I'd really like to go for a walk. And I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't do that, because I'm in a sense unclean. And as I experienced that, I thought about that character that I've really appreciated, that lone leper of the 10 that went back to Jesus. All of them were calling out. All of them received physical healing. But this one guy went back. The others didn't. This guy did. And not only did Jesus commend him, but he also said, your faith has healed you. Now, it seems, as I look into that he's talking about a spiritual healing, a further blessing that happened to this guy who went the extra mile, was thankful to God, and didn't just take for granted what God had done for him. And as I wrestle with that, I know I can easily take for granted things God has done for me. Specific things that have happened in my life that are a blessing, but even abilities, skills that He's given me. I can take those for granted, and I can take Him for granted. But I don't want to do that. As by His grace, I'm healthy now. I don't want to take health for granted. I want to return to him and thank him for all he's done for me, for how he's blessed me, for how he's blessed those around me. Yeah, not everything is great. There's hard things that happened. But he's given me a chance to know him, have a relationship with him. That's something I never want to forget. And I also don't want to miss out on greater things that God might have for me by just taking him for granted. I want to go the extra mile. As I work with students and interact with others, I want to encourage them to go the extra mile as well. I want to encourage you. We're all on our own journey, but we can encourage each other. And that's an encouragement I want to leave you with. Go the extra mile. Look to the lone leper as an example. But even more, look to God, his love, and his blessings to inspire you.